Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Welcome back to the show that understands that facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and today we're going to dive into the whole idea of you not being you. In fact, when was the last time that you felt like you were being completely yourself without any give a shit about what it looked like to anybody else? Well, before we get to that, guys, help me out. You can follow me on Instagram at the Savagely Loud page. That's where I'm most active, is Savagely Loud on Instagram. My backup page, which you'll find a link to on that page, is Savagely Loud Podcast. You can also follow me on Facebook, X, Rumble, and YouTube, Savagely Loud. YouTube and Rumble are Savagely Loud Podcast. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share the stuff. Help me get this word out. Help me get my opinions out. Help me get this truth out that you and I both believe in. And let's change the fucking world together. But it's going to be a whole lot easier if you guys help me out. And don't forget, please, guys, please rate the show on iTunes or Spotify. Rate the show, review the show. I don't give a shit if it sucks. If you don't like it, do it anyway. Help me out. Put me in the algorithm. If you think that my shit's that bad, put me in the algorithm and let the world chew me up. So, without further ado, let's get to some updates. How about that? Before we get into the meat and potatoes, as we say, let's get to some updates. The website is still under construction. I just looked through it, what my wife has created for me, wireframe-wise. I think we talked about it last time. We got the wireframes up. I've reviewed all of that. I think it looks fucking ultra phenomenal. And then she actually, because that's pretty much her, that's her wheelhouse. That's her go-to profession there. She's a designer and a fucking really great one at that. And she builds websites and stuff. So she keeps coming up with these other questions that I never even thought about, because that's just who she is and what she thinks about and how her brain works. And every time she brings something up, it's a really great idea. So I naturally have to contemplate working it into the substrate, if you will, to the groundwork of the website itself. When it comes to TikTok, I am still banned. I'm going to stay banned. I really don't give a shit about TikTok at all. So don't look for me there anymore. Everything else is still kind of in the works. The gear is kind of in the works. It's on the back burner because we've got so much other shit going on right now. But it is being worked on. What else we got? The intro video, I do get questions about that. Yes, I know. I keep saying that I got it done, and I keep thinking that I got it done, but now I've run into this problem lately because, again, let me reiterate that I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm as dumb as it comes when it comes to making videos, like actual dynamic graphics digitally and all this other shit. I'm stupid, so I got to work through this. I got to learn the shit as I go, and I keep saying that I got it really close to done, and I do, and I actually thought I had it done. And it turns out there's no sound, so that's something that I'm going to have to figure out. But you know what? It's a learning curve, learning experience, and it just teaches me more and more for the next fucking thing I got to make. But guys, let's talk about this authenticity factor, because everywhere you fucking turn, somebody's talking about authenticity. Just be authentic and you'll sell. Be authentic and people will buy. Be authentic and blah, 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 blah. That, money will rain from the heavens and scantily clad women will feed you grapes and fan you to sleep every night. That's one of my dreams. And my wife knows about it. But but yeah, they make it sound like if you're authentic, then everything is going to just go fucking truly right for you. And based on my own life, I'm going to use a lot of my life as examples in this episode because it really does fit. And so from my own perspective, living the life that I've lived and doing the things that I've done and being the people that I've been, because I've been blessed in living many, many lives, I will tell you, when you think you're being completely authentic, you're probably not. When you think you're being completely you, you're probably still performing, and the world is going to show you this, okay? So let's just start this shit out with a big giant mind fuck right out of the gate. The world is going to show you that you're not being authentic, and it's going to do so by not delivering the success you feel you deserve. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's a job, you're being an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, you're starting a fucking, a charity, you're doing a podcast, web show, you're making videos for YouTube, whatever it is that you're doing. If you feel like you're doing it completely authentically, you're being true to yourself, no matter who it might disturb or might make happy on the other side, and it's just not delivering. There are several factors. Maybe you haven't been doing it long enough, and maybe you got to brush up your skills, or maybe the world is just showing you that you're not being all the way you. And once you achieve that level of authenticity that makes you proud to look in a mirror about and talk about what you did that day, when you reach that level of authenticity, that's when you're going to start getting noticed. And I will have you understand this right now, though. All of us, actually, every single person, we all have many sides to us. We're not just one-dimensional fucking people. I don't give a shit how bland you are, how dumb you are, how intelligent you are. I don't give a shit. You don't have just one side of you. You have many different sides of you. You like different things that might even be contradictory. So you're these different people. You don't always, this is another thing that I want you to take to the bank. You don't always get to pick which one of those sides you're going to run with, okay? So let's take me, for example. Like I said, I'm going to use my life example for you. So for years and years, I've always been big into personal development. I've made it through a hellish childhood, and I had to learn all about how to deal with it on my own because, therapists and shit weren't a thing back then, and they probably would have done the same thing they do now and just keep you coming back so that they can keep paying the note on the new Beamer. But growing up, I always wanted to live a better life. I always wanted to live in a different house. I always wanted to live in that, that cliche dreamscape that you see people at school. The kids at school, they all have neatly packed lunches with all the latest name brand goodies. And, they get dropped off in the family minivan. Mom gives them a smooch on the way out. Good morning, goodbye, I love you, honey, sweet dreams, whatever. I always wanted that, but that's not what I had. So I had to learn how to deal with things by myself. And one of the ways I felt the best about dealing with things is to make other people happy. And I know that there are therapists out there that are going to say that is an unhealthy defense mechanism or an unhealthy coping mechanism. But you know what? It helped me as a kid. I'm 43 now. You're not going to tell me anything about me being a kid. So just pull back a little bit and listen. Making other people happy made me happy on a level that I couldn't explain. I couldn't explain the feeling it gave me. I couldn't explain the happiness that it brought. I couldn't explain how it made me feel mentally or emotionally. I couldn't explain any of this, but I knew I liked it. So I knew it was good. So I got into the habit of making people happy, right? And I'm not saying making people happy to my own detriment. I wouldn't put myself in the grave to make people happy. But if I could make them smile, make them giggle, whatever, just add something positive to their day, I would do that. And that became a side of me. That became a part of who I was. On the other side of that, though, was this, what I call the rage monster. I've always called the rage monster. Because I feel like I have this other person living inside of me, and I always have my entire life, to where I can just, it's like a switch just flips, and I'm a completely other person. This rage monster that lives inside of me had to get quelled over the years, and it took a lot of that other side to do that. But here's the great thing, though. You might think this sounds bad. You might think this sounds like a fucking punishment, but it's not. Because the greatest thing is over the years of my life, I've learned how to control both sides of these. So I'm not putting myself into the grave to make other people happy, but I'm also staying true to myself enough to keep me happy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not kowtowing and capitulating to the masses. I'm not saying what everybody wants to hear. That's just not who I am. That's not what I do. And that's not what I think is beneficial to the world. So that puts me in a weird conundrum, because now as an adult, I want to make people happy. I want to tell people they can do better, and I want to show people how they can do better, even if it's only mentally. I've never and never will be the gym rat, the physical fitness expert, the nutritionalist. I've never been any of that. I can't tell you how to get better there. I can give you the same fucking headlines that you're going to read on Google. Talk to somebody that knows about that. Mentality, that's my game. That's what I know inside and out. And I know fucking people inside and out. And I am confident enough in that statement to say that I will be challenged by anybody and hold my own. So feel free. But as I grew up and I became these two people, once I became an adult, I had to make a decision on who I wanted to be. And I found that out because the world kept forcing it on me. The world was never giving me what I thought I deserved. It just, no matter how hard I worked, nothing. I worked later, nothing. I worked longer, nothing. I worked harder, nothing. It's because the world was pushing me to be who it knew I was. The world will always demand of you authenticity. And if you don't give the world authenticity, it will push you into a position where you're forced to deliver. Well, as I grew up and as I went on through my adult years, I fucking worked on trying to figure out which side is I'm going to go with. Am I going to go with the extreme car builder guy, or am I going to go with the everybody's a fucking piece of shit guy, or am I going to go with I'm the amazing one that survived all this victimhood bullshit and survived, and I'm this, or am I going to what? I chose to go with the you can do better. I chose to go with the guy that just understands, because I truly do believe this. I truly believe that every single person can do better. Every single fucking person can achieve something. If you're not achieving it, there are reasons that you have to address, you have to acknowledge, you have to understand them. And in order to do this, you've simply got to embrace the reality of things, and that's what most people can't do. And then the reality behind it is that you're just not being authentic. You're not at least being fully authentic, When we go, and I've brought this up before, but when we go back a little bit to, pre-January of 2025, I was doing personal development content. I was doing shit that, people loved. Like, I was getting, therapists telling me, great job. I really like the way you see the world. I'd like to talk to you, blah, 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 blah. But it just didn't bite. It just didn't bite, because the whole time I was doing it, I still had this piece of me that just understood. I'm going to hurt some feelings here for all the fucking personal development guys out there. But I had this piece of me that just understood. I was enabling all of these motherfuckers out here to continue being lazy, to continue being a victim, to continue feeling bad about their life, themselves, their family, their job, their everything. I was enabling these people because I kept coming on here and giving them a fucking spoonful of hope. I kept coming back every single fucking day, multiple times a day, and saying, hey, it's going to be all right. And this is how you can help it happen. Hey, it's going to work out. It might not feel like it is right now, but here are the markers that you're going to notice that are going to show you that it worked. I did all of this shit while I was fighting this angry part of me that was watching the world fucking collapse. I was watching the fucking world around, not only around me, in my general vicinity, not in my just my town, my county, my state. It was in my country, in my world. Like literally every fucking piece of fucking land on the planet is falling the fuck apart right now. And I kept looking out at this, and I just felt like it was the war on drugs. I was fighting the war on drugs. You're never going to fucking win. You're probably not even going to make a fucking dent. But while you're spending your energy doing that, all of this other shit is going to happen. And that's where I got to the point where I was just like, dude, you know what? I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, just like you, just like your mother, just like your father, your sister, your boss, your uncle, everybody. I wanted to be fucking known for something good. I wanted to be known by the fucking masses for being something positive, being a fucking force of nature in a positive direction to bring some sort of light to this world. And so I just focused and focused and focused on this personal development shit, this you can do better shit, you know, and nothing ever happened. But then I shook the fucking Etch-a-Sketch, you know, for the people that aren't old enough to remember Etch-a-Sketches. They were these little red square things with two knobs on them. They had sand in them, and I don't know how it fucking worked, but you drew things with the knobs, and then you shook it, and it erased, and you did it again. But I shook the fucking Etch-a-Sketch, and I just restarted. And I had a really pretty fucking harsh conversation with my wife. And I don't mean harsh as in I was getting up her ass. I mean harsh as in like I was having to accept a lot of realities in that moment again. And I'm really grateful that I know how to do this. I'm really grateful that I'm so versed in doing so. But even that being said, it was still difficult. It's always going to be difficult when it comes to issues of pride, issues of identity, issues of you being proud of yourself because you are being authentic, okay? And I know we're talking a lot about authenticity, and in case you don't understand what the true definition of authenticity is, I got it on dictionary.com. The true definition of authenticity is of undisputed origin, genuine. The quote, the letter is now accepted as an authentic document. That's the simple fucking truth of authenticity, is just being genuine, being who you are. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean all these other things that people think it means. Like a lot of people think being honest means being authentic. No, that is just a state of willfully being able to deliver truths as you see them. That has nothing to do with authenticity. You can be honest and be a lying sack of shit at the same time, because you can tell somebody the truth about them and then look in the mirror and tell that motherfucker that everything is A-okay. And most people do just that. So when it comes to this whole topic of authenticity, you have to peel it apart, see what it means to you, because that's what's going to tell you where your authenticity level is. That's what's going to tell you where you need to be. That's what's going to guide you like a compass, like a light in the fucking sky. It's going to guide you to the place you need to be, just like it did for me. So in January, I had that conversation with my wife. I had multiple conversations with my wife, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. I had 1,970 followers, and I had been trying my ass off for fucking years to get more so that I could just feel like I was making a dent, you know, feel like I was reaching somebody, and it just never fucking happened. So I was just like, I'm done. I'm going to go back to who the fuck I am at my core all the way, and I'm going to talk about the shit that nobody else fucking talks about, because that's who I am at my core. That's what I do, and it's what I've always done. I have always addressed subjects that nobody else will touch, and if they touch them, they will touch them very lightly and very briefly. That's not who I am, because I've never fucking looked at the world and said, you know what will fix this? Diplomacy. You know what will fix this? Just lying. Because you want the other fucking person on the other side of the table to smile and feel good about what you're talking about. You know what's going to fix the world? Not getting all the way to the bottom of what is absolutely fucking wrong in this particular topic. So that's what I just do. I fucking talk about shit. I will talk about shit to a depth where most scuba divers can't fucking go. Like most mariners, submariners can't go. I will go to the depths of the fucking Mariana Trench if it means getting the truth out and getting a situation fixed, which is why my content is so shocking, which is why my content on especially on Instagram and on social media, it lights fires, because it has to. Because it gets people thinking. It incites that thought factory that they keep between their fucking ears finally. And they start thinking about shit, they start processing shit, and then they start talking about shit. I'm a conversation facilitator, baby. That's what I do. But when it comes to being authentic, I had to have that conversation just like you have or will have to have. And I'm going to say, you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going to fucking attempt to lose all my followers. I am going to actively attempt to piss off every single fucking person that has ever clicked that follow button. This happened in January. In January, I had 1,970 followers, like I told you. So I decided to actively try to piss off every single one of them into unfollowing me. And I started talking about every single truth that I look out across the global landscape and I see the ones that I see that need to get fixed, the ones that I see that bug me the fucking most, or that I see leading to bigger and badder problems, bigger and worse issues across the globe. And you know what happened when I did that? Something unlocked in me where I started getting proud of myself. I was fucking terrified the first fucking one that I put back out, because I had used to do this with another YouTube channel that I had started briefly, fucking better than 10 years ago. But in 2025 in January, I was totally fearful. Even though I wanted to lose all my followers, I was totally scared to put my shit out. And you know what happened? In January, I was 1970 followers. I attempted to lose all my followers, and I'm about to hit 20,000 followers on Instagram, and I just hit 34,000 on Facebook. The Facebook page didn't even exist until January 10th. This is the power of authenticity. You see, I was trying to use the authentic part of me that really, truly, genuinely does want people to get better, to make people better. But I found that there are other people that are better at that. That part of me, the world showed me that other people are better at that, especially in a social media atmosphere. One-on-one conversations, I will probably decimate just about fucking anybody, or at least stay with them. But social media requires a completely different approach, a completely different aesthetic, a completely different vernacular. And I was not hitting on all cylinders. The world knew it and the world showed me. So when I just accessed that fucking authentic part of myself, let it fly, and I've never been doing fucking better. And the same thing will happen to you. But because we're in the age of social media, we have to also, when we talk about authenticity, we have to acknowledge that social media will inherently fuck with our brains. It will inherently fuck with our mindset. It will inherently fuck with who we are, because we might not even realize it when we're making our videos or posting our shit, but we're performing. We are performing. And I've had this conversation on multiple shows before with other people on other people's shows. A lot of what social media is performative. I won't say all, because there are authentic people on social media, but most of social media is all performative. It's all the highlight reel. It's all people that you know personally. Right? Okay, let's take a fucking walk down imagination land, okay? You know people personally in your life that just posted on Instagram or posted on Facebook about a new car or a new house or a new motorcycle or a new boat or a shopping spree or something, and they made their life fucking look like it is fucking amazing. But you know the truth. You know that motherfucker just cost them every damn cent they had, and they're panicking about how they're going to make the bills next month. You know this. Well, this is social media. Social media has turned every single thing into the you show, the me show, the they show, the him show, the her show. Every single person out here now, because of social media, has this personal brand that they're trying to sell you, this personal brand that they are trying to not only create, but live up to, even though they've never invented it yet, even though they don't even know who the fuck they are. Because most people, let's face it, most people can't get a fucking hook on social media because they're boring. Most people can't get a hook on social media because they're not interesting, because they don't have any hobbies, because they're not good at anything. They don't have any skills. They don't have a social structure or a social ability. They don't have anything. So they can't get a hit on social media. They can't get any traction. And it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel worse, which is which is a downside of all of this, is because you get so wrapped up in the comparison process between, oh man, so-and-so just posted, they got a new this, and I've got an old that. So now I got to figure out how to get the newer that so that I can make them look bad when it doesn't even matter. Nobody's even fucking paying attention to what you have. In fact, nobody's paying attention to the new shit that just got posted by your buddy unless they were looking at the post. As soon as they clicked that little heart or clicked the like button and fucking scrolled, they forgot all about it and they no longer give a shit. They might have given a slight shit in the moment, like, hey, good for you, and scroll, gone, end scene. But because we're in such a fucking state of comparison because of social media, it has psychological tolls. We are in the age of performance and our brains are rotting because of it. Because everything you do now is you're always thinking, even if you're not making the video, even if you're not doing the post for social media, you're just walking around the store. Let's say you're grocery shopping. There is some piece of your brain at all times that is thinking, who's going to put this on social media? Who's going to video this and make me look bad on social media? Well, I've got to act different. I've got to prop up. I've got to puff out my chest, because you're always self-concerned, self-monitoring, self-editing, self-censoring, self-everything, and it drives you fucking crazy. When's the last time, think about your life, really, honestly, do a little exercise real quick. Think about your life all the way through it. When was the last time you felt really great about things while you were completely nervous about everything in life? When was the last time you felt really great about the things, the direction that things were heading, while you were so insecure about everything in your life it was hard to live? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But social media keeps us in that fucking mind state. Oh my God, are we an imposter? Like, am I an imposter? Am I trying to fake this? Am I trying too hard? Am I trying? If I'm authentic, I shouldn't be having to try. Oh my gosh. And it just puts you into a fucking mental shitstorm of negativity, and it's going to take you into the bowels of hell. I can promise you this, because you are going to suffer from anxiety, if nothing else, at the bare minimum. You're going to suffer from anxiety if you're always feeling like you're being judged by somebody. You're always looking around, always, got one ear open, trying to figure out who said what about you. Are they talking about me in the next booth? Oh my God. Oh, it's probably this shirt. I should have put some more deodorant on, blah, blah, blah. You're always going to be living under this fucking, this terrible fucking haze of who thinks what of me, which is another fucking issue, because you could slip so far down that rabbit hole that you stop giving all the fucks about what everybody thinks of you. And we've done a fucking show about that, and we will definitely do another show about this whole zero fucks given kind of thing, and how you really need to start giving a fuck. But you can't give such a fuck that you live your life by what other people think. Did you buy your car because you know somebody that liked it? Do you know people would like it more than you liked it? Did you buy your house because it was in a great neighborhood, not necessarily because you liked the fucking house or liked the neighbors? Did you start that job because you needed a job, or because that's the job that you spent time hunting down and that's your dream job? Did you take a job just because it was respectable to mom? We've all done it. We've all done it. But are you doing it now? And if you're doing it now, you understand that, now's a really good time to hit the drawing board and see what you can do to unfuck that situation. Because even though it might not be fucked right this second, I promise you it's on its way to being fucked in the long term, which is where we lead to cultural consequences. Like, everybody's a culture, right? Now we used to have like cultures like white culture, black culture, Spanish culture, Asian culture, Indian culture. We used to have all these different cultures, right? I shouldn't say white culture. People get mad. We should call it Eastern European culture or Western European culture. It doesn't matter. It's fucking white culture, and we all know what it is. Like, just like black culture is not African culture, because there's black people all over the world that have different cultures. So, it's just, that's the way it is. But we used to have this set of cultures. And now, because everybody has become a personal brand because of social media, we have now individualized all of those massive, all-encompassing cultures for their peoples. And it has created what I think is the worst problem, is absolutely the fucking worst problem. And that is the absolute 100% decline of real talk. Okay, We don't have real talk anymore. I don't give a fuck who says, oh, I'm going to have some real talk with you, bro. No, you're not. You're not going to get real. You're not having a real talk with me. I'm not going to have a real talk with you because in the back of our heads, we both know we're not allowed to. We both know if I said what the fuck was on my mind, this shit would go wrong. We both know if you said what the fuck was really on your mind, this shit would go wrong. And the real talk, though, here's the big problem. Real talk is what we need. Real talk is the shit that I try to get. The real talk is the real breakdowns of the worst parts of the worst conversations that nobody wants to have. Those are the problem solvers, and that's where the real talk gets the job done. But we don't have it anymore because everybody's self-editing, everybody's self-censoring, everybody's pulling punches and pulling back away from the fucking conversation when they think it's getting a little too sticky, and they don't want to have to answer for whatever they're about to say a year from now, a month from now, a week from now, whatever. So they pull back, and everybody does it. Because it's just become like this whole authenticity thing has gone out the window. If people were authentic, truly authentic, to the point where they make themselves proud to go to bed at night of what they did today and how they acted and how they conducted themselves, if people were truly authentic, they would have the real talk. The real talk wouldn't have disappeared, but because people have become less authentic, it's actually just become more of authenticity is more like an aesthetic now. It's more like something you wear. Like, I'm going to be authentic today. I'm going to be vulnerable today. I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to be a lying sack of shit today. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. We've turned authenticity into a suit. We've turned authenticity into like a mask that we put on for whatever video we need to film to convey whatever fact or feeling that we need to convey, right? Whatever opinion maybe, whatever perspective, whatever point we have to get across, we've turned this authenticity into a mask, and we can alter that mask. That mask is malleable. We can move it around. We can shift it around. We can up the cheekbones. We can drop the fucking eyelids. We can drop the eye bones. We can drop all of this stuff. We can pick it all up and make it whatever the fuck we want. And that is a fucking huge issue for authenticity itself, because you lose the definition of it after it becomes a suit to wear. Once you have turned it into something you can take off, it's no longer who you are. Who you are can't be taken off. Who you are can't be just shut down. Who you are can't be turned off because it's not going to get you the attention you want to get. Who you are is in fact going to get you the attention you've always wanted, but you're so fucking terrified to be who you are because you're so deep into this comparison process with the rest of the world that you're afraid to move. You're afraid to be you. It's not that you don't like you. It's not that you like them better. It's just that you've been made to fear being you. Because every time you were you for even a second, you got shut down. You got pushed on, you got pushed back, you got some sort of opposition when you tried to be you, and it scared you away from it. And then you started comparing, and you saw all these people all living it up, all looking like they're happy as shit, like they got life figured out. When in reality, they don't. When in reality, they're just as timid as you are. They're just as meek as you might feel. They're everything you are. They've just decided to get past it enough to act. Okay? And that goes, and that can help you, because I have a thing that says act until you become. You know, if you act away long enough, you will become it. If you, here, I'll give you a small example. Very simple. If you are the kind of person that, well, you go for a walk down the street in your neighborhood, right? You see a pop can on the ground, you just walk right by it. Most people do. That's somebody else's trash, that could have somebody else's DNA. We got all sorts of excuses on why we didn't pick that up. If you go out there and you decide, you know, I want to be the guy that picks up trash. Like, I want to be the guy that the neighbors see doing things that are positive, like picking up the trash on the side of the street. That's not going to be who you are now, because you've decided you want to be that. You're going to have to act. You're going to have to act it out. You're going to have to wonder, well, if I had the cameras on me, how would I be doing this? And that's how you'll do it. That's how you'll break into becoming that. You'll start acting like, oh, I'm the guy that picks up the trash. I'm the guy that does this. I'm the guy that does that. And pretty soon you really are the guy that does that because it's become habit. It's become, and you go on long enough and it becomes ingrained in who you are. You actually become that. So, you act until you become. That's a great way to fucking get things done. Just make sure that you don't remain acting because whatever you're doing isn't that important. We see it all the time on social media. How many videos have you seen, like bystander videos of them filming somebody else, like the crisis zones, like when Fort Myers got hit with the hurricanes, like that kind of shit, catastrophic winds and all that sort of stuff. We saw thousands of videos of fucking girls, hot ones, like super fucking hot, getting out of cars in the middle of this wreckage zone, picking up a fucking hammer and acting like they were hitting a nail while somebody took a picture, and then they throw the fucking hammer in the back of the car, get back in, and then get the fuck out of there. They believe, though, here's the issue, they believe that that's authentic, because they believe that authenticity is only what your followers believe of you. And that goes back to that whole authenticity's just become a mask or a suit that we can take off when it's not suitable. We can take it off when it doesn't fit right for the situation, for the matter at hand. We can just slide it over there, or maybe we keep it on, but we alter it a little bit. Well, that's what's created these fucking people on social media acting like they're fucking being authentic and they're wanting to help people. And then they swing a hammer a couple of times for a picture, get the fuck back in the car, and they are the fuck out of there. This is like the end game of what authenticity has morphed into. The original authenticity doesn't exist anymore. The original authenticity is, I think, reserved for people that are not afraid to have people fucking hate them. They're not afraid to put their fucking opinions out there. They're not afraid to put themselves on display for a better cause. If they believe in something, I don't give a shit if it's like all children should be building macaroni sculptures and I'm going to make this my life's goal because I truly feel it, and then they do that, they will reach some level of fame. They will reach some level of fortune for it because that is who they are. But if you take me and you try to put me in that scenario and you want me to fucking believe that all these kids should be making macaroni, I'll never ever get anywhere. I'll never sell a fucking thing. I will never gain a follower because I don't believe that. At least not wholeheartly. I love the creative end of it, but to take it beyond that is too much for me. So I would never be able to sell because I'd be faking it. I'd be faking it. Like that's all there is to it. I would be bullshitting my way to a perceived popularity, and but it will never come. So I've decided, as a lot of people have, is, you know what? Fuck you. How about that? Fuck you. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that I give a shit what's happening on the other side of the world. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that all this diversity is helping me out and benefiting my life. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that all these conversations that we are not allowed to have and have not been allowed to have since the 1960s. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that it's better that way. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that not talking to all these other cultures about the ickiest shit about their cultures and mine. Maybe I'm tired of pretending that is what's going to fix the fucking world. So I just decided to fucking be me. Fuck you. You don't like it? That's fine. But I'm doing something positive. I'm doing something I believe in. I'm not killing people. I'm getting to the bottom of some things. I'm not fucking censoring people. I'm platforming them. I'm facilitating conversations with my content. That's what I'm doing. I'm not locking anybody down. I'm freeing them up. Let's have the conversations. Let's get into the stickiest shit that we can possibly fucking dive into so that maybe we can fix this fucking thing. Maybe we can swing this motherfucker back around and make America great. Not necessarily again, but maybe we could just make it great. Maybe we can make it a level of great that we haven't seen before. Maybe we could make it a thing that is so great, we don't even know how to describe it currently with our fucking current vocabulary. Maybe we can do that. But the only fucking hope we got of that is to come together and have these conversations with everybody that we're not supposed to have, the conversations that make you uncomfortable, the conversations that drive people to getting to a better place in their life or drive life itself to getting to a better place for people. Because that's another thing we've lost sight of. We have lost sight of with all these personal brands that we have a larger brand that we're all part of, and it's called Team Humanity. We've completely wiped the fucking schedule for anything on Team Humanity or for Team Humanity, and we have filled the schedule for Team Cliff, filled the schedule for Team Tammy, filled the schedule for Team Tom or Team Joe or Team Bill. And we've completely left Team Humanity out. So we've got this sense of responsibility that has gone out the window that really we all need to have at least a little shred of if we expect this whole thing to play out at all for anybody. Because while we're all sitting here concerned with ourselves, how am I going to get that next Gucci bag? How am I going to get those fucking Nike slides? How am I going to get the fucking new speakers for my fucking, while we're all worried about this, humanity's just taking a nosedive because nobody's fucking thinking about it, because we're all just thinking about what can we do in our life to make us happy so that we can post that and make other people think we're even happier than we are. Because we all know people that have fucking posted, like I said earlier, we all know people that have posted, life is great, when life actually sucked. Because authenticity is just a fucking mask you wear. So if you really truly give a shit about the world, about the future of the world, the planet, Team Humanity, all the animals, everything, you're going to have to start learning how to be truly you. Make it, it's fine. Make it the fucking Joe show. That's cool. The Joe Schmo, Joe Nobody show. But make sure that person, that Joe person, is living up to the expectations of himself, not of his neighbors, not of his boss, not of his parents, not of his siblings. Him, her. Make sure you are living up to your expectations for yourself. If you're doing something on a daily basis that even if it's positive, hey, yeah, it's positive, it's a thing that I'm doing, it's good, it's this. If you have to convince yourself that doing that is better for you than doing this other thing that is haunting you and hounding you and hanging over your shoulders in the back of your mind, if you have to convince yourself that this other thing is worth doing over that, you're not being authentic. You're not being true to you. And that is going to show with every single fucking word you say. It's going to show with every single fucking post you make, every single fucking video you upload. It is going to show, because the one thing that if everybody could understand, they would change their lives for the better, is that everything that you have that is an insecurity or what you believe is an ineptitude, everything you think is very well hidden is got a neon fucking sign on it, pointing on it for everybody to see. Every single thing that you think you've got hidden is out on display for everybody, and it's the first thing they pick up. And nowadays, it's authenticity. Everybody thinks they're being fucking authentic, but they're fucking not, and it's sticks out. It stands out like a sore thumb. It's like a fucking a tornado siren going off every time you open your mouth because you're not being true to you. Start being true to you, and I promise your fucking life will change. Start being true to you, and I promise this world will change. Cultures will change. Everything will change, because if you do you and you're honest with you, you're not being authentic, so you're going to move into this direction or realm of being authentic, and you're going to make yourself proud doing the thing that you know in your heart of hearts you're supposed to be doing. You is everybody. So the world will fucking change. And that's exactly what we need. And now, let's get into the end of the show segment. Every single show, we always get into the fucking sticky wickets of the weeds that nobody likes to be in. And I like to end the show with a little segment to just remind everybody that humanity still exists. And it starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
All righty, for today's Hopelessly Human, we're going to pick ourselves way back up. We're going to feel good before we drop this episode, and I'm going to read you this story. At 20, this is by Grace J., who wrote into Brightside is the website 7 months ago. Grace J. writes, at 20, I was a single mother struggling to make ends meet. My family had abandoned me, and I was working at a nail salon to survive. One day, this lady, a first-time client, forgot her Chanel bag. I put it in the lost and found. 2 weeks passed, and she didn't return. My boss asked, do you want the bag? I eagerly opened it, but there was nothing inside but a crumpled paper with 2 words. For you, the paper wrote. I didn't understand, but I took the bag with me anyway. Then I unzipped the inner pocket and was shocked to find $700 inside. It was the biggest blessing that came at a time when I needed it the most. A year later, I discovered that this lady, something's happened. Okay, there we go. A year later, I discovered that this lady was not, in fact, a random client that forgot her bag. The bag actually was a way to help me. You see, the woman was a friend of my boss who had orchestrated the whole thing. My boss knew I was struggling and too proud to ask for help, so she found a way to give me the money anonymously. Her kindness saved me during the hardest time of my life. And now, 8 years later, I no longer work there, but I still think about her generosity. On tough days, it reminds me that there is still good in the world. And guys, there is still good in the world, and you can add to that good in the world by just being simply authentic, be true to you, do everything you can do to make yourself fucking proud of you, and we're gonna get this thing fucking figured out. That's it. I'm out.